Hello, this is Jerry again with my project here up in Lyons, Colorado. It's about, let's see, today is Friday, March 21st, and it's been 10 days since I got my lumber package. So everything you see here we've done in the last 10 days. Pretty much working every day. Sometimes working by myself, but most of the time with one other guy. So me and one other guy for the most part, putting all this together in 10 days. So we've got some walls up. We got a big one here that we put up. This is one of the first ones. It's got these 3 big windows in it, and I haven't built the sill parts yet. We actually stood that up with a backhoe. There's a big heavy wall and it's got these big LVL headers in it. So I was able to get the backhoe in here and hook a chain onto it and stood it right up, no problem. It was a cinch. So that was nice that I could reach it. The other ones, like back there, we put up by hand. They weren't too bad. We called on a neighbor here to help us stand that other big one up back there with the window. And then started, well, we got enough walls up to where we could start putting floor joists up. And so we've got quite a few floor joists, probably, maybe half at this point. And started building the middle wall down here. We're just doing the joists first because they span the whole width of the house, and then kind of take some measurements with the laser and get this middle wall just perfect so I don't have any height discrepancies in my floor. It's perfectly straight, no dips or humps. So seems to be working pretty well. In this section we haven't done the middle wall yet. We just put the joists up, and I'll brace it up for, you can see it's kind of waving around there in the wind. It's been windy up here like every day. So that's been a battle, but at least it's nice out, you know, the sun's out. Makes it a little better. Could be way worse. So yeah, moving right along here. Got these beams up yesterday, LVL beams. This one goes all the way across. This is for the reason it goes all the way across. There's an interior wall that goes above it, and it gets anchored down to it with straps. It's for a shear wall. So a shear wall is sort of makes the house more rigid and kind of protects it, holds it together in the wind when we get high winds up here. So that's going to be a shear wall to make the house more rigid. That one over there only goes halfway because it's just carrying this LVL beam that ends up making up my opening for my stairway, which is going to be basically between the exterior wall and that beam is going to be my stairwell. And the reason we haven't built that wall yet is because it just goes all the way up to the top of the roof, the top of the main level, which is up there. So that's going to be like a 20-foot tall wall there. So we'll build that after we get the floor deck on and stand that up, and then that'll end up being part of my main level floor walls. And then once we get the floor deck on there, we'll, you know, start building upper walls and standing those up. So I still have to finish a couple of end walls there that I've just kind of waited on until we get the floor joists all the way down that way. I found out that that end of the house is, the foundation is real square, so it's nice to get a nice square corner. If you can find a big square corner and triple check that and make sure it's perfect, you can pull all of your other measurements off of that. so everything's perfect all the way down. It's really hard to build a absolutely perfect foundation that's square all the way around. So, you know, you got to make some tweaks here and there. I guess there's some concrete guys that can make it perfect, but probably 9 times out of 10 or more than that even, they're not perfect. So you've got to figure out what's square and what isn't, and work with it. Make some adjustments on your walls, whether they have to be just inside the concrete or maybe even hanging over just a tiny bit. So we had to make some adjustments. We figured out where it wasn't perfect, and but like I said, if you can find a really good square end of the house or big corner, that really helps to, you know, that's perfect. You can pull everything else off of that, all your layouts and everything else. So yeah, we're cruising right along. Pretty happy with it so far. Got our bearing plates on here, sill plates bolted down. Put our sill seal under there everywhere where there's a plate. Just bang my head on that board. I know the audio is probably crappy with all this wind, and I'm just taking these videos on my phone anyway. My phone's not that great, so maybe I'll invest in an actual GoPro or something at some point, who knows. For now I'm just taking these with my phone, and these are kind of for my records, so I'm just putting them on YouTube just for the fun of it, really, in case anybody wants to see what I'm doing and maybe learn a few things. Yeah, so what else? I'm not going to go into too many details. We've got a couple of big hangers up there for that beam. They rest on the exterior walls on that, you know, on this end. And I might pack a couple more 2x4s underneath the end to help carry that load down to the foundation. Same here. I've actually got, this is going to be my utility room right in this area, and I'm going to make a big opening in that wall so I can access the crawl space real easily. So I'm going to put some kind of header in there and make a big old opening so I can have a big access into my crawl space. And I'm going to put another one down there too, since this crawl space is so long. It's 80 feet long, so it'd be nice to have good access to it. Yeah, we've been cleaning some rocks out of here to try to make it better for when this is all closed in and we put plastic over it and put our radon pipes in there. Yeah, so just plugging away here. It's starting to look like something. So I think not bad for 10 days so far. I'm tired though. I'm worn out. This is a lot of work. Yeah, but I'm hanging in there. My body can still do it. I'll be 46 here in a few days. So not as young as I once was, but I can still do it. I still got it in me. These are heavy. Everything's heavy. All of this stuff you're looking at. These LVLs are heavy. We put them up one at a time and nailed them in there, nailed them together while they're up. You know, we weren't going to kill ourselves nailing them together on the ground and then lifting them. So I found that saves on your body a little bit doing it that way. We've got a lot more joists to go though. Like I said, I've got about maybe half of them up, and there's 60 altogether. So I haven't counted what we got up so far, but we're somewhere around the halfway mark. The stairwell kind of took a little bit to make sure it was right, so that hung me up for a day or so. And down here it's just all floor joists the rest of the way with no openings, so I can just cruise right along on that, especially now that I've got everything square and I know my layout's good. You know, once you get going and you have your layout, things go a lot smoother. Then it's just a matter of putting in the work to get the rest of them up there. So anyway, I don't know. Oh, let's see. Yeah, I've been talking with, you know, now's the point where I need to get my plumber and my HVAC people lined up. So, man, that stuff's really expensive these days. They want an arm and a leg for that. So I'm getting a few prices to make sure I'm not overpaying. Things have really gone up in the last few years. These guys want a lot of money for what they do. So unfortunately I don't do HVAC, and I'm not proficient enough in the plumbing codes to really do my own plumbing, so I'm going to leave that to the experts so I know it's right. Yeah, shopping around there a little bit still. Got my windows ordered yesterday. That was a big deal. You got to order windows right away too, because you know they take a month or two to get. So you don't want to be to the point where you need windows and you're still waiting on them. So finally got those ordered. It's not as bad as it was like a couple years ago when you had to wait months, many months for windows. It's better now. So I think mine are going to take a month and a half. So hopefully I'll have this thing ready for windows in a month and a half. We've got a lot of work in front of us still. Got some beams ordered for my, I'll have to show the plans at some point, but I've got a big timber frame porch going on that end of the house, and it just follows the roof line, and big timber frame porch on the gable end. Ordered my timbers for that, so I know those will be here when I get to that point. Trusses are being manufactured right now, so they'll be here in another week or so. So things are rolling right along. And I've just got to keep on going, keep on framing. And hopefully it all comes together. What else? Yeah. We're gonna get, we haven't gotten any OSB up yet. I'll probably get some OSB up pretty soon. We've just got kind of diagonal braces holding everything up. I put a lot of bracing, diagonal stuff, a lot of diagonal bracing on the floor joists, and just to hold everything square. You don't want the wind blowing this thing down and ruining all your hard work and lumber. So got to make sure you brace things up real good. A lot of diagonals. Keep everything rigid, standing up, square. So that's what I'm gonna be doing the rest of the day today, is doing some more bracing on the floor joists we got up today. And then I'll probably start with the corners, just one sheet of OSB in the corners to strengthen that up. I didn't want to just go ahead and start sheeting all the way around, because man, the wind comes whipping through here. You get a 50-mile-an-hour gust, and you're basically just creating a big sail. So it's kind of a tricky deal. You want to get so far and then maybe get a few sheets up, and then maybe get some sheets on the floor to hold that real rigid, and get some more on the walls. That's how I do it anyway. I start with my corners, sheet in each corner at the ends of the walls, and then I'll get some floor on, and then I'll finish the walls with OSB, and then finish up my floor deck. once I got a big old box going, then that's really strong, and then we can proceed with the upstairs main level floors or walls and kind of do the same deal there. A few years ago, somebody was building a house here in the neighborhood, and man, they even had it all framed up and sheeted, the whole thing sheeted, but they didn't put their shear wall in yet. So that's another thing I'm gonna have to think about. Make sure I get something in for my shear wall right away. You know, don't just build the box without the shear wall. Put something in there to strengthen the house. Well, anyway, yeah, they didn't put the shear wall in, and we had a really windy day, like 70-mile-an-hour gusts, and the whole house came down. Just turned to splinters, and they had to start all over again. So I don't want that happening here. So we're going to be real careful about how we go about bracing things and putting OSB on, and really pay attention to our bracing and our stiffening. I guess that'll be about it for now, and I'll make another video here in a few more days. Maybe when we get a floor on here, that'll be nice to see. So anyway, talk to you later.